The floor is actually vibrating. This is unacceptable. Hey folks, in this video we're going to revisit a modification I made in a previous video because it didn't work out so well. See how short I cut the exhaust pipes? Yeah, that's the part that didn't work out so well. I don't know how well this is coming through in the video, but it's really loud in here. If I rev it up a little bit, the floor is actually vibrating. This is unacceptable. Okay, this turned out to be a bad idea. I cut the exhaust as short as possible to reduce weight. But unfortunately, the noise is reverberating underneath the car, and since most of the sound deadening has been removed from the interior, it causes the whole interior of the car to resonate. It is really bad. So I'm gonna have to extend the exhaust pipe out to the back bumper to get the sound out from underneath the car. Okay, so we're gonna be extending the exhaust all the way out the back. This means I need to buy some exhaust pipe. I bought a couple pieces of straight pipe and a couple 20-degree bends. All the pipes are 2-inch diameter, and the straight pieces are 18 inches long. Like I mentioned earlier, I cut the exhaust as short as possible to reduce weight. But unfortunately, that part needs to be reattached to the exhaust. I'm going to try to cut it as close to the muffler as possible, and then I'll extend the pipes out the back. If you look on the muffler, I marked some lines on top. This line here represents the angle that these pipes come in. This line over here represents the angle that these pipes come in. So my muffler delete pipe can follow that. Before I chop the pipes off the muffler, I need to mark them so I can reinstall them in the correct orientation. To do that, I temporarily reinstalled the muffler. Then I lined up the pipes so I can mark them with a Sharpie. Then I removed the muffler again. Now I can start modifying the exhaust. Or at least I can start modifying it after I get a new welder. Speaking of the welder... Okay, let's talk about welders. I've had this thing for several years. I don't use it very much, and when I do, I hate every minute of it. This thing is a piece of junk. Now, I'll admit I'm not the world's best welder. I'm definitely a novice. But having a piece of equipment like this makes the learning process even more frustrating. So I decided to replace it with this guy. Obviously, this is also a flux core welder. It's not exactly top tier either, but hopefully it'll be better than this thing. Anyway, we need to do some welding on the exhaust, so this will be a perfect time to test this guy out. I probably could have taken the car to a muffler shop and had them do the exhaust work, but I like to go the DIY route. Plus, I needed an excuse to replace the old welder. So basically, I killed two birds with one stone. Or at least, that's how I'm justifying it to myself. Anyway, let's get back to the project. I decided to make a couple tabs to support the exhaust pipes. I cut the tabs from some scrap metal I had lying around. Okay, so I'm going to use these tabs to brace the exhaust pipes. One of them is going to go right about there. And then the other one is going to go on the new pipes that are going to go through here. I'll put it somewhere around here, I'm not sure yet. Okay, let's try out the new welder. I'm going to weld one of those tabs on the exhaust pipes to hold them in place. That way it'll be easier to reattach them to the exhaust system. That's not pretty, but it should hold it together. So far so good. Now let's cut those pipes off the muffler. Oops, that blade was dull. Let's get a new one. That blade didn't last very long. Good thing I have some more. Oh great, one of my welds broke. Wonderful. Alright, let's grind off that bad weld and start over. This time I turned up the power a little bit for better penetration. Okay, that's better. Now those pipes are ready to be reinstalled. I decided to drop the exhaust system out of the car to make it easier to weld on it. First I made some tack welds to hold the pipes in place. Then I completed the welds. Okay, this part of the welding is done. I had to butt weld those pipes together, and there were some gaps, so that was exciting. Anyway, the welds look okay. Obviously they're not professional quality, but to be honest, if I was using that other welder, they would have been much worse. So I'm happy with that. Now let's get this exhaust back in the car. Now the exhaust goes back in the car so I can test fit the new pipes. Okay, now we have our exhaust pipes test fitted. They haven't been welded yet. Once I'm happy with the fitment, I'll weld them in place. After I was satisfied with the fit, I tack welded the new pipes. I used a block of wood and a clamp to hold the pipes in place. I also disconnected the ground cable from the battery to prevent damage to the electrical system. And here you see the new pipes tack welded in. I also tack welded the reinforcing tab I mentioned earlier. Then I dropped the exhaust system out of the car again so I could weld those pipes. After the exhaust pipes were fully welded, I reinstalled the exhaust system again. To finish the exhaust install, I need to make a couple hangers for the new pipes. The hangers I bought have 90-degree bends, but they need to have 45-degree bends. So I used a torch and a vise to change the angle of the dangle on those hangers. I installed them using the original muffler mounts. Then I welded them to the exhaust pipes. One of the hangers was a little too long, so I chopped it with the angle grinder. And there we have it. The muffler delete is finished. Now let's see what it sounds like. Okay, this is better. Actually, it's a lot better. There's no more vibration through the floor. I can actually hear myself think. Let's rev it up a little bit. It's got some bark. But now that's all going out the back instead of resonating inside the car. Yeah, that's definitely an improvement. I wanted to go for a drive and see how it sounds on the road, but unfortunately I ran out of time to finish this video. So we'll do the driving impressions in the next video. Stay tuned.